What's up, guys? Welcome back to Deck Tech for Decks. I'm your host Caleb. Special shout out to my high contributing patrons, Newsome, you rock. Now let's get into today's Precon upgrade with Hail Caesar. And this deck is pretty simple. It wants to go wide with a lot of tokens and generate value off of sacrificing those tokens. What makes this deck so good though is that the commander kind of just does everything. He has card advantage, a way to generate tokens, and a way to deal damage directly to our opponents equal to our board state. So he's kind of insane. We're going to add a little bit more cards to really get the engine going early game because that's kind of what I see this deck lacking. We're going to take some of the situational cards out that are kind of conditional and kind of just feel clunky in the deck. We're going to get rid of those, add in some more efficient cards. This is going to be an $18 upgrade guide. We're going to take 15 cards out, add 15 cards in, make sure you really get the feel for the upgrade that we're adding to the deck. Additionally, I'm going to throw some non-budget card options at you along with a way to go infinite. So if that sounds like a deck tech upgrade guide you want to get into, let's get into it right after a word from our sponsors into the AN. Guys, I'm obsessed with these shirts. They're comfortable, you can't feel the logos look amazing, and additionally, they fit super snug. They taper at the sleeves, which I'm obsessed with. The fact that it just fits right and makes you feel amazing while you're wearing it is why I am such a fan and proud to be a sponsor for this company. If you want to get 10% off your t-shirt order, you can use code DECKTECH, and the description down below will take you directly to their site. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into today's deck. Let's kick it off by talking about that infinite combo. If we have our commander and Breath of the Fury on the battlefield at the same time, we just need two other creatures to start this loop. We sack one of them to our commander and then the other one to Breath of Fury for an extra combat step, and then our tokens can go ahead and take on the Breath of the Fury. We can sack another one to our commander to create two more tokens, and this will net us infinite combat steps. Our only obstacle is going to be those pesky blockers. So this combo does feel a lot better when you have something like an Adeline on the battlefield or an Pakal. That way, if you can't go infinite, do the blockers, you can at least get a ton of value and generate a massive board state. A few more non-budget options I'd like to mention before we get started is Adeline. This girl just gets so massive, creates a big board state, and just becomes really hard to deal with. Professional Facebreaker and Grim Hireling. These two are my go-to ads in any go-wide strategy. The treasure token generation is insane since it will trigger per opponent, so Grim Hireling can net you 6 treasure tokens, Professional Facebreaker can net you 3, and then additionally one gives you removal, the other one gives you card advantage. They're just really solid creatures. Now we can get onto those budget upgrades. We have Inspiring Leader. The first thing I wanted to add is a little bit more anthems to the deck. Ultramarines Honor Guard, another thing that has the squad ability. There's a lot of squad already in the deck, and this is just going to be one of the best versions of it. Gold Knight Commander can absolutely end a game, especially with something that generates a ton of tokens. Even our commander is going to give our entire board state +2/+2 as long as we sacrifice a creature and create those 2 tokens. Holy Frazzle Cannon and Invasion of New Capenna are pretty solid here. One's removal, then we flip it, put this on our commander, and it's going to start buffing our board state. Half the creatures in the deck are humans, the other halves are soldiers. Our commander is a human soldier, so it's going to be solid. Prava is going to make it really hard for people to block our 1/1 creatures because now they're just 2/5s. From there, we need a little bit more token generation. Urabrask's Forge is just going to ensure that we have something to sacrifice every combat to our commander. That way we're getting our value. Apothecary White is kind of insane. We generate 3 food tokens a turn, and then we can tap those food tokens for creature tokens. It goes 3, 6, 9. It can get out of control very quickly, and it's just going to give us a little bit of life gain. And then Pakal, just another way to generate a massive board state while creating a massive creature. Hero of Bladehold gets us creatures whenever she attacks. Horn of Gondor, there's a ton of humans in the deck, and this is just going to double up on all those humans. Call of the Coppercoats, I've seen this card win games. If someone's going wide, even if 2 players are going wide, it can net you that instant board state to kill everybody. Garna Bloodfist of Keld seems very solid in this deck. We just attack with a creature, sacrifice that creature to our commander, and then we're drawing a card off our commander, a card from the Garna trigger, and then generating 2 more creature tokens. That seems pretty solid to me. Savrina Rain, another solid add to this deck. Not only does it add a little bit of drain effect whenever we attack with our massive board state, but additionally it gives us some more card advantage. We can sacrifice our fodder to draw more cards. Wayfarer's Bauble, not a very fun include, but a necessary include. Playing this turn 1, making sure you can ramp turn 2 is just going to be very efficient. Let's move on to the cuts of the deck. The first one is Yes Man. While this is a fun card and synergizes pretty good with our commander, if it ever comes back to us, it's never coming back to us. The fact that our commander is a sack outlet and this generates a ton of tokens is incentive enough for our opponents never to give it back to us. And then additionally, they're drawing more cards than us because they're probably just passing it back and forth at this point. So this is probably a card that loses you the game 9 times out of 10, but it does draw you 2 cards. The Mysterious Stranger can give you some solid value, but honestly, I kind of want to be playing this in a deck where I can blink it and really abuse that ETB. The Nipton Lottery. There's a ton of board wipes in Mardu that aren't this restrictive and this random, so if you want to play a different board wipe, I'd just play Damn and cut this out altogether. Ruthless Rad Rats, not very great early game because the odds that early game we have 4 different cards in our graveyard to exile to this is not very big, so it just seemed like a very easy cut because 3 mana for a menace 2/2 just does not get us there. Heroic Reinforcement, 4 mana, 2 creatures, everything gets +1 in haste, just not where we want to be for our token generation. Mr. House, this guy's a bomb of a card, but really deserves his own deck to really shine. You really need to be putting 4 treasure tokens into that ability just to ensure that you get the token and more treasure tokens. The problem is we don't really have a very consistent way to generate treasure tokens, and then again, you don't want to really be spending 4 mana into this for 1 creature. Not really where we want to be. White Gloved Gourmand. We don't really need the food that this card generates, and then it just gives us 2 tokens for 4 mana. Really, again, not where we want to be. Stolen Strategy can give us some solid card advantage, but I really want to be playing this in decks that care about casting stuff from exile, or decks that are really trying to steal our opponent's strategy. Legate Lanius. Now, I don't know if I'm missing something, but this just seems like a terrible fleshbag marauder. The fact that our opponents really do need 15 creatures before we cause them to sacrifice 2 just makes his ability literally a fleshbag marauder effect, and then he just gets bigger whenever our opponents sacrifice a creature. So this guy's just really not worth it for me. The bobbleheads are an easy cut for me. You probably want to play these in a strategy where you're creating token copies of them. That would be really fun, maybe like in a Brutaclad deck, but in this deck, it's just not it. McCready Lamplight. Now again, this one, the value just wasn't there for me to deserve a card slot in this deck. Impassioned Errator. Now honestly, I don't think we need this guy. We have a little bit of incidental life gain in the deck already. We did add Savrina Rain and the other girl that generates food tokens, so just getting another form of that does nothing but gain us life is an easy cut. Survivor's Medkit. This card just doesn't do enough for me to want to put it in a deck. Additionally, there's not a whole bunch of ways to recur it, get additional value out of it, create a token of it. Yeah, again, it's just going to be an easy cut. With that being said, guys, that's the end of this upgrade guide. I really want to hear your thoughts on this. I probably will build this guy at some point just because the value is insane. I'm either going to go full into the soldier strategy or I'm going to go full into the human strategy, maybe make it a tribal deck just so we get some added value from tribal synergies. Really excited to see what you guys think about that in the comments down below. But with that being said, thank you for watching. As always, I would like to thank my patrons, Newsome, Praetor, Excessum, Chicken Salad. You guys are amazing. Really keep the channel going. With that being said, I hope this helped you in your deck building endeavors, and I will see you in the next one.